Hello, everybody, and welcome to another Guilds of Ravnica draft here on the channel. If you're watching this on YouTube, welcome. And before I begin, I would like to remind you that if you enjoy the video, be sure to hit that thumbs up and subscribe to get updates for whenever I post new content and to support the channel. I really do appreciate each and every one of you. Also, as a little bit of an additional way to help me, let me know in the comments if you prefer MTG Arena videos or MTG Online videos, and also if you would like to see a Vintage Cube draft here on the channel. So those are the best ways to help me out, and let's get into the pack. Atrada the Silencer is a pretty great rare. It's basically a removal spell on a stick. I don't really value the shuffle back into your deck all that highly. It is good in control mirrors, but other than that, it's not like unbelievable. I think it is quite a good card, and I think it is going to be the pick here. It just is strong enough that I think it's worth taking over a Watcher in the Mist. In a normal set that isn't a Guilds set, I think taking Watcher in the Mist is much more likely to be correct, but because Watcher in the Mist only goes into blue-black or blue-red anyway, the chances that you get to play it are a little bit lower than they would normally be. So I think Atrada the Silencer is worth picking up. I am going to be going with the, like I call it the 5-pick method. You literally just take the strongest card out of each pack for the first 5 picks, or maybe even more. And the open color combination will kind of naturally reveal itself in that way, because in Guilds of Ravnica and any set with guilds, finding the open color combination is so much more valuable than just trying to stay like in a lane, because if you're the only one drafting your guild, you're going to end up with a much more solid deck. That being said, I think Gruesome Menagerie is a fine card, but it's not like insane. A lot of the time it's hard to facilitate. Getting good 1-drops is difficult. So I think I am just going to take Sinister Sabotage. Even if I'd taken a green-white card, I still think I would just take Sinister Sabotage out of this pack. It's a pretty nice counterspell. The format's slow enough that you can usually counter something worthwhile. Even the aggressive decks have cards that are worth countering. So looking at this pack, Beacon Bolt is a card that I was initially very down on because I had a very mediocre experience with it in my first draft, but I've come around on the card a little bit. I think you want to make sure you build your deck around it. Also, the timer is glitching out, so I might have to make this pick a little bit more-ish. It's just a card that's very solid in the right decks, and you can build around it. That being said, I think Conclave Cavalier is just a house. There are cards that deal with it. Luminous Bonds comes to mind. But there's a Conclave Cavalier and a Rosemane Centaur in this pack. Both of those cards are quite nice. I think Conclave Cavalier is just the best card in this pack. It's really hard to deal with for a lot of color combinations, and it's just a really good card. Sky Knight Legionnaire is also quite strong. I think that if I wasn't taking Conclave Cavalier, I would be very tempted by the Sky Knight Legionnaire. I do have a couple of strong Dimir cards, but I'm not going to just force Dimir based on my first 2 picks, because there's a lot of different factors that could lead to seeing a second pick Sinister Sabotage. There's no real reason to commit so heavily after that, so I'm just going to take a Conclave Cavalier here. And we can follow that up with a Rosemane Centaur. Probably seeing Selesnya so far here. I think this is just the best card in the pack, highest upside, so it's pretty nice. This is why I advocate for this method, because it just naturally finds the open combination for you a lot of the time. If in that last pack I had taken something like a Dowser of Lights, in this pack, I'd be taking something like a Dimir Guildgate, and my deck would just be going steadily downhill. Here, I'm giving up my first 2 picks, but Rosemane Centaur is a very strong card, and Selesnya tends to be underdrafted because people don't think it's a good combination. But if you get the good cards, any deck can be a good deck in this format. So that's why I think that finding the open guild is so much more important than trying to like force onto a certain archetype. So we're going to take the Rosemane Centaur here. And Flower Flourish is a great payoff as well. The reason Flower Flourish is so good is because it makes it harder to flood out, and that's especially important in Selesnya, because Selesnya doesn't have a ton of great mana sinks. Sure, it has Ledev Champion, which can make 1/1s for 5 mana, but that's not a super great mana sink. Neither is the Guild Mage for Selesnya. Making a 2/2 for 6 mana is not super great, but Flourish is actually a pretty relevant card in later game scenarios. And I think that it's just a really nice pickup. It's also just the best card in this pack, I think, in a power level. Like, in power level for this format. I mean, in some formats, Samala Woodshaper might be better, but I think this card is just a little bit too slow and inefficient to be good in this format. Format at 2/1, it just 2/1 body just doesn't do anything. It doesn't pressure the opponent. It's not even like, you can still whiff with it sometimes. So we're just going to take Flower Flourish here. Okie doke. So Swathcutter Giant is actually a card that could be worth like splashing it in some ways. This is basic force, yeah. It's kind of a like in certain decks I would splash Swathcutter Giant. I think Naya Control would play it. It's like not a great card in Boros necessarily because Boros wants to be much lower to the ground, but it can definitely be an effective card. Molder Hulk I think is a trap. It's just way too inefficient. It costs 9 mana. Even if you make it cost 6 mana, it's still like a worse Colossal Dreadmaw. Colossal Dreadmaw was like a fine card, but like nothing insane. I think here I'm going to go with either Pax Favor or Parhelion Patrol, and I think I'm going to go with the Pax Favor. I think combat tricks are really important, and this is a pretty good one in Selesnya because you can kind of surprise attack your opponents with it. Selesnya Guildgate is also a consideration, but I'm just going to go with the combat trick here. The thing with Pax Favor is that a lot of the time you're going to have a couple Vigilance guys like Shield Maiden and Centaur, and you can attack and then cast this for like 1 mana or 0 mana, or you can like cast your creature and have a couple guys back and just cast it for free and really surprise your opponent. I think it's a really underrated combat trick. Definitely one that I'm always terrified of when I'm playing against Selesnya. Here I'm going to take a pretty easy Luminous Bonds. This is one of the benefits of finding the open combination is you just get really strong cards later in the draft. Luminous Bonds is a card that I have first picked multiple times. I wouldn't say it's a great first pick. It's like a fine first pick, but this is like 7th pick. So Luminous Bonds is the clear pick here. After that, I would probably take Shieldmate or Dissident, but easy Luminous Bonds here. And now Healer's Hawk pretty solidly. Healer's Hawk is one of the like best cards for this type of deck just because it's a 1-drop that can help you convoke out an early Rosemane Centaur. On turn 3, potentially, if you go Healer's Hawk 2-drop, you can convoke out Rosemane Centaur. It isn't as great as it would be in Boros, because in Boros you can oftentimes mentor it to make it a real threat, or put a Maniacal Rage on it or something of that nature, but it is still a great card. It can really give you a nice life total buffer against the aggressive decks. Join Shield is a card that I do not think is particularly playable. The only reason to play it is because you can kind of get your opponent because it's so bad that they'll never expect it. But I still don't think you should ever play this card. Here I'm just going to take a Golgari Guildgate. Pause for Reflection is not a card that I like. It's much better in formats where cards like Flourish are more common. So if there's like like an overrun effect in the format, it can be quite effective. For example, in Hour of Devastation, there was a Fog, and there was also a card that gave all your guys like +2/+2 in Trample or something. And that was a like pretty effective sideboard card against decks that ran that card. But here I'm just gonna take the Guildgate. It could help me splash potentially if I open a good black card. Here the pick is between Generous Stray and Wild Ceratok. I don't love Urban Utopia and I don't love Selesnya Locket. I think in Selesnya you would rather be running a creature because the Locket's getting mana, but also creatures can get mana for your big guys. I think I'm just going to take Wild Ceratok. I think Generous Stray is a little bit too small, and you only really want it as, I think, in Golgari, where you just kind of want to have creatures that can die pretty easily. But here, I just think Wild Ceratok is going to be the pick. Wow, late Sky Knight Legionnaire. I do think that Selesnya is the open color combination just based on like the late cards I've been seeing, but this is a really late Sky Knight Legionnaire. I'm not going to switch colors for it. I think I am just going to take Hunted Witness. There are certain decks where I would just play Hunted Witness and it'd be fine. It's also a good sideboard card against Boros. Candlelight Vigil is not really my favorite type of card because there's a lot of unconditional removal. So this is kind of close. Take Heart is a nice combat trick. I really do like combat tricks. Ladev Guardian, though, is a fine blocker for this sort of deck. I think I'll just take the combat trick. I do like combat tricks a little bit more than most people. I think the reason the combat tricks are pretty nice is because they give you pretty nice outplay potential because you can use your combat tricks in a variety of ways to get your opponent for cheap. Here I'm going to take the Somala Woodshaper. I already have 100 Witness. I can't imagine wanting to play a second one, but I'm going to hope not to play the Somala Woodshaper. So overall, first pack went pretty well, I'd say. We have some pretty strong cards. Our colors look open. We were seeing late cards like Luminous Bonds. Okie doke. Looking at pack 2. Conclave Tribunal is a really nice pickup, just really effective removal spell. We already have a Luminous Bonds. I'm going to just sort by like the combat tricks, removal spells, and then my creature curve. I don't think you necessarily want to put your removal spells in the curve because if you count this as like a 3-drop, it's like you're not really casting it on turn 3 all that often. So Conclave Tribunal is going to be a nice pickup. Blade Instructor might wield. That would be a fine card. Fresh Face Recruit is also a fine card. Not the greatest, but it's fine. But Conclave Tribunal pretty easily here. I do think that Blood Operative, which was the rare in that pack, it's 1 black for a 3/1 lifelink. I think that card is pretty effective, but I still don't think it's the pick here. Wow, getting past Niv Mizzet Perrin. The guy to my left is probably not playing. Is it? I can tell you that much. But I wouldn't doubt if he's playing like Demir or something, because I don't know. But he's also passed a House Guild Mage. I don't think he's playing Demir either. What the heck is he playing? He's probably not playing Boros either, because he would have maybe probably taken that Sky Knight Legionnaire. Or maybe he did take the Sky Knight Legionnaire. Either way, we're not switching for a Niv Mizzet here. We're not taking the House Guild Mage. I think we could take a Loxodon Restore, or we could just take a Selesnya Guildgate. Loxodon Restore is not really incredible, just medium. Pitiless Gorgon's also fine. I'm going to take the Guildgate. When you have Conclave Cavalier in your deck, you do want to have a couple Guildgates. And Selesnya Guildgate is just going to be pretty nice in this deck, I think. Here I will take Sprouting Renewal. I don't hate Sprouting Renewal. I know that several people are down on it, but I think it's actually just a really flexible card. You don't want to play it in Golgari because it doesn't help Undergrowth, and that's actually kind of a big deal. But I think in Selesnya is pretty effective. It can, a lot of the time, just be like a 2-drop. If you have like a 1-drop to go with it, you can often cast it later in the game for like 1 or 2 mana. And it's just a nice little bit of flexibility to have in the main deck, because there is some enchantment removal, and you don't just want to lose to that. People, when they put like a Maniacal Rage onto their Healer's Hawk and stuff like that. Hunted Witness is not really a high priority for me. So this pick, World Soul Colossus, is a card that I started off really high on because it was like really good, and then I was much lower on it because it kind of doesn't do well against all the Death Touch creatures. But I'm back to medium on it. I think it's a fine card. But that being said, I am going to take Luminous Bonds here. I already have a couple of bigger guys with the Conclave Cavalier and the Rosemane Centaur. I have a lot of time to get more big guys, but the removal is going to be pretty premium no matter how I cut the cookie, as they say. How the cookie crumbles. Yes, that's how they say it. They don't cut the cookie. They crumble the cookie. Exactly. Parhelion Patrol is a fine card. It works nicely with Healer's Hawk, but not really with any of my other cards. So I don't really prioritize that as much in Selesnya as I would in Boros, where you can potentially mentor it with a Wojak Bodyguard and then it becomes a real threat. I think Luminous Bonds is a pretty clear pick here. And this pick, pretty weak. There's not really anything for me here. I think I'm going to take the Gate over the Wary Okapi. Maybe Okapi is correct, just because you want to make sure you hit playables, and Vigilance is pretty nice with Convoke because you can attack and then Convoke stuff. But I haven't seen a great black card yet. I do think that there is a chance I would splash a black card. At this point, I think Somala Woodshaper might be getting into the deck. I do need some cheaper cards. I think I'm just going to take the Gate. Wary Okapi will probably wheel. Nobody else really wants it. It's just kind of a mediocre card. And Gate can let me splash some really powerful things. Prey Upon, just some nice removal. I'm going to probably have some relatively undercosted 4/4s, and Prey Upon plus a 4/4 can kill most things. Hypothesis was quite nice. If I was in Izzet, which I don't think there's any way I'm supposed to be in Izzet, I think the guy to my right is potentially in Izzet because I didn't see any, maybe not Izzet, but the guy to my right is playing some combination where that kind of took me out of the Izzet game. I didn't see any good Izzet cards pack 1, but I'm just going to take Prey Upon here. Wow, this is an interesting pack. I'm not going to take another Prey Upon. I do need more creatures. I only have 6 creatures right now, you can tell from this little thing. Sprouting Renewal is kind of like a creature, so that's kind of like 7 creatures. But I do have a lot of non-creatures already. I have 4 removal spells. I have 2 combat tricks already, so I don't really need to prioritize Take Heart. 10th Disregard is a really bad 2-drop, though, so I don't want to take that one. I could take Blade Instructor. I think I'm just going to take another Sprouting Renewal, potentially. I'm just going to take another Sprouting Renewal. I think Sprouting Renewal is a fine card. Wow, late Boros Challenger, I will say. Vivid Revival is interesting. It works nicely with Flower Flourish. I think that's a really nice combination. Rosemane Centaur, I have a couple of gold cards already. I have 4. And this can be a really nice late game card. I already have a Pax Favor. I don't really want a second one right now, considering I already have another combat trick. Righteous Blow could be a consideration just because I don't have any early game defense, really. I have no 2-drops right now. Just going to take Righteous Blow. I don't have enough. I think you need like 6 or 7 gold cards for that to really work. And now I got the Blade Instructor back. Blade Instructor's fine. It's not like insane, but it's fine. I think Righteous Blow is just going to keep me alive much more effectively. There are some pretty scary flyers that you can kill with this. Sky Knight Legionnaire comes to mind. Carrion Screecher, I think. No, that was the name of it in Hour of Devastation. The 3/1 bats, Bartizan bats. Yeah. I like how they print the same cards. It was once known as Vampire Revenant in Rivals of Ixalan. Now it is known by its humble name, Bartizan Bats. Always the 3 and a black 3/1. Here, I think I'm just going to take another Hunted Witness. Maybe a Hishklar Recluse would be better. I already have a lot of 3-drops, though, and I don't really have a ton of early game. I could take a Vigorous Boreworm, but I don't really like that. I'm just going to take Hunted Witness. I don't hope to play it, but if I don't get any 2-drops, then it might just become necessary to play a couple 1-drops just so I have some early game power. And also, 3 1-drops, if I do get some 2-drops, is actually kind of fine. Hey, there's Bartizan Bats. My man. I'll take Garrison Sergeant. But having a couple 1-drops because you can go 1-2 Rosemane Centaur is pretty nice. I think pack 3 is going to go much better for me. I did pick up some good cards this pack. I got a Luminous Bonds. I got a Conclave Tribunal. But over... Oh, World Soul Colossus came back. That's nice. I think I'll play World Soul Colossus. My deck probably is going to need some more top end. World Soul Colossus can be pretty huge. It does struggle in certain matchups, but I have enough removal that I think I'll be fine. I think I would play Sworn Companions in this deck. I think Sworn Companions is a deck that you only really want to play if you have certain payoffs. Flourish is one of them. World Soul Colossus is one of them. But a lot of the time, Sworn Companions isn't great. Blade Instructor is one of them. It's kind of cool to go, ooh. Oh, man. This is... Wow, this is a really tough pick, actually. Jeez. Dawn of Hope is one of those cards that I think it's going to be the pick here. It's just a really, really like game-winning card in certain matchups because it builds an army and it draws you cards and it pretty much just does tons of great stuff. Affectionate Indrik, though, is really good too. You play it for 6 mana, you get a 2-for-1, affect the board pretty nicely. So I really do like Affectionate Indrik. Jeez, this is actually a really tricky pick. I think Dawn of Hope is a little bit stronger, though, so I am going to take that. Hopefully I'll wheel Vernati Shieldmate. That would be a really nice 2-drop to add to this deck, but Dawn of Hope is going to slot right in. Izoni, not as good in draft as it is in constructed. So they took a common out of this pack. I guess I will take a Pitiless Gorgon, just another creature. I don't really want an intrusive pack beast in this deck. I'm not aggressive enough for that. But Pitiless Gorgon is a fine card. Hey, a Guild Mage. That's the front runner right now. I'm not going to splash a Deadweight. Deadweight is a fine card, but it's definitely not really like splashable in my opinion. I do have the 2 Guild Gates, but I'm not going to hurt my mana base a ton to play a Deadweight, especially when I have all this removal anyway. I'm going to take the Conclave Guild Mage. It's a great 2. It's not an insane 2-drop, but it's a decent 2-drop in this deck, and I don't have any 2-drops. So it's definitely the pick over the Gorgon and the Take Heart. And another Conclave Cavalier. I told you this pack was going to go well. You can kind of tell the pack's going to go well based on how the first pack went. Nobody was playing Selesnya. This is just a really good Selesnya card. So I'm very happy to pick the Conclave Cavalier up. Sworn Companions or Blade Instructor. Or Generous Stray. I think I'm just going to take the Sworn Companions. I think it's going to be nice with a bunch of the cards I have. And also, it just can help me stall out a little bit more effectively than these other cards can, because it's just making 2 lifelink blockers makes it harder for the aggro decks to rush you down. These are 1-drops. So expensive cards. Okay, now I think I am going to have to take the 10th District card. I just need a 2-drop here. I already have a couple 4s. Wild Ceratog's already my worst 4-drop. And probably that and some All Wood Shaper are pretty bad, but I'm just going to take another 2-drop. It's really important to have some 2s in this deck. I guess I'll... between Sworn Companions and another Pack's Favor. I really don't want to run Smaller Witch. Actually, I'm going to run Smaller Witch Shipper. I realize now I have Dawn of Hope, so I can find that more consistently, which is really good. Let's take Pack's Favor. I think it's just going to be more effective than a second Sworn Companions. Now I'll take another Righteous Blow for those early game kill spells. Keeping in mind that this thing says 13, but Sprouting Renewal is basically a creature and Sworn Companions is, so I basically have 16 creatures. We're not a Shieldmate. Easy pickup here. I just need more 2-drops. 3 2-drops is very low, but I do have 3 1-drops to kind of compensate. But Parhelion Patrol works nicely with Sworn Companions, but I just have to pick up a 2-drop. No real option there. Look how many playables I have. I have so many options here. It's really nice. One of the best things about having so many playables is you can really tweak your deck for sideboarded games. Guess I'll take Candlelit Vigil. Not really a demotion deck. Blocks not restore. Pitiless Gorgon. Blocks not restore. Blocks not restore is pretty bad in my opinion. I think I'll just take the Pitiless Gorgon. The reason Locks on Restore is bad is because it doesn't match up well against like Rosemane Centaur. It doesn't like get through a Watcher in the Mist. It's really kind of expensive. Picking up another take card. Ooh. I don't think we need any more top end. We already have some pretty decent guys at the top end. I guess we'll take. We already have enough 4-drops. Okay. So the build is going to be pretty interesting on this one. Pretty interesting. I already have some ideas of what I'm going to cut. I'm probably going to cut the Hunted Witnesses. Okay, so we're just going to put all of our cards in that are potentially playable. And then we'll make our cuts. So these are all the playables here. I think Celestia was definitely where we were supposed to be. 2 Conclave Cavaliers is huge. We're going to cut Vigor Spore Worm. I know I just added it, but I just wanted to like have a good idea of what I'm looking at. I'm going to cut 1 Sprouting Renewal. It is a fine card just for its flexibility, but it isn't like the most powerful card. I'm going to cut a Take Heart. I think that Pack's Favor is going to be a little bit better in this deck. Move that up to the creatures. Move this up to the creatures. Cut the Hunted Witnesses, I think. I have a pretty low curve. I mean, I'm pretty bad low end of my curve, but I do have the 2 Righteous Blows, so I think I have to keep both Righteous Blows in. I think I'm going to cut the second Take Heart. Actually, I'm going to cut 1 Pack Favor, maybe, for the Take Heart. Just some diversity. Makes my opponent play around more things. And I have 25 playables here in my deck. Going to cut Blade Instructor. I don't think that's really where I'm going to be at. We're not really great at attacking early on. I think I'm just going to win with the value from Conclave Cavalier. Dawn of Hope is a pretty good late game card. Smaller Witch can help me find Dawn of Hope. And then I will cut Pitiless Gorgon. Pitiless Gorgon is going to be hard to cast because if you look at the deck by color, you can see I have a ton of white cards. And I do want to have a decent balance, but there's like a double green card. So I think this is a pretty decent build. I might want to cut 1 more combat trick. Maybe cut the extra Take Heart for another Pitiless Gorgon, just another creature. That'll... just so I can have more creatures. Do I want to run Pitiless Gorgon or Blade Instructor? Probably Pitiless Gorgon. Just trading off 1 for 1 is really nice. And there's going to be this is going to count as a land, I guess. So maybe I can just run both. I just like running creatures over like all the certain combat tricks. I have 1 combat trick to keep my opponent honest. Maybe I just want a second one over Blade Instructor. I have a good feeling about this. Okay. So we're going to sort this by converted mana cost. Sort by color. So these are basically lands. And then we're going to run 15 other lands. We're going to run 8-7 because we do want a good mix of green and white. Yeah, I do cut a Pitiless Gorgon. It's just a little bit hard to cast. Yeah, we'll run it like that. And that is going to do it for the build. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, and I hope you'll stay with me for the matches. Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 1 with our Selesnya deck. I do think we want to be on the play with this deck. Selesnya can oftentimes develop an overwhelming advantage pretty early on, and that's oftentimes enough to win the game. This is a kind of sketchy hand, but we're going to keep it. We have a decent number of white sources in the deck. We have some creatures that would allow us to cast Rosemary Centaur anyway. Like if we draw Venardi Shieldmate, we can convoke out Rosemary Centaur because it's a green/white card. And we just have a lot of spells in this hand, so it's going to be hard to flood out and do literal nothing this game. Okay, they're starting off with a Hunted Witness. I'm actually pretty happy about that because it means I'm going to have pretty good sideboard plan for this matchup. Okay. Keep in mind I do have 8 planes, Flourish, a Selesnya Guildgate, and a Shieldmate. That would all be pretty decent draws, so I'm not actually in super bad shape. So he's also playing Selesnya. I think that's actually pretty cool because I think my Selesnya deck is pretty strong in the late game, and a lot of the time Selesnya decks get bogged down in board stalls, and for those situations I have World Soul Colossus and I have Dawn of Hope. That being said, he's off to a pretty good start, so we'll have to draw planes soon. Ooh, pretty nice. Good to get our white source. Oh, goodness. Okay. Early Rosemary Centaur. But that's not the end of the world. We're just going to probably Luminous Bonds that here, so we don't take too much damage. Don't want to take too much damage here. We have a couple removal spells in our hand. If we draw on a land, we can play our own Rosemary Centaur just for 5 mana. If we draw planes, we can go Guild Mage plus Blade Instructor. If he goes for something like a Siege Worm here, we can Conclave Tribunal that. So he got off to the ideal start, 1-drop, 2-drop, Rosemary Centaur, but we just had a removal spell. Okay, so he's got his own Blade Instructor. Another Rosemary Centaur. He's off to a very good start indeed. It's going to be a tricky one to win. Plains is a good start, though. Just going to play our own Rosemary Centaur for full retail here. It's really good here because it can just block the Blade Instructor. We can trade with his Rosemary Centaur and then play our 2 creatures the next turn. If we trade here, if he had a combat trick, he probably would have attacked with more stuff. Okay. Okay, so he's all out of cards. That means Conclave Guildmage is his late game here. Ooh. So maybe I play my Guildmage, and then the thing is I want to get rid of his Guildmage, but I also want to get rid of his Blade Instructor so he can't mentor up this guy. But I guess I can kill this guy at a later date. Maybe I do this, and then we can just battle our Guildmages against each other, and if we're both making 2/2s, we'll be in fine shape. I think this guy's more potent right now. I'm just going to play the Blade Instructor. If he attacks with this guy, I'll just trade with it. And I have my 2 combat tricks here. I have 3 spells in hand. He has none. If he draws a land, he's just going to start making 2/2s, which isn't the end of the world. But he probably drew something else. Or maybe he just drew the land he's going to play post-combat. I would imagine he's going to mentor up the first striker. Yeah. Or he'll mentor up a lifelink token. Okay, so he's mentoring up the Hunted Witness. Just going to trade my Blade Instructor for his, take 4. If I had another creature, I could cast Pax Favor for free, which would be really good. Save my guy. So he just drew, okay, he drew another spell. Pretty nice spell too, but. Can play Wild Ceratok, it blocks all of his guys. And then next turn we can Conclave Tribunal this guy. Be in great shape. Okay, change of plan. We're going to probably Conclave Tribunal that guy. This guy's just a more immediate threat, and since he's going to be making 2/2s, presumably, we're also just going to be making 2/2s, so we can battle him on that front, but this guy's just going to be a little bit annoying to deal with, because it'll just let him all-out attack for multiple turns. We still have a lot of our powerful cards to draw. Dawn of Hope is a really good card to get out. He's going to be making a 2/2 this turn, but we can just make a 1/1. So it's not that much worse. And also now we have just a lot more options. We can be just making 2/2s. We can be making 1/1s. We have our combat tricks up. And this 4/3 can just shut down the 2/2s either way. We're actually going to block here and here. Take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Want to hold up our combat tricks instead of the Dawn of Hope. Okay, that worked out. Ooh, that's a nice draw. Not going to attack there. We're just going to pass. We'd rather make 2/2s, I think, because those can block these guys than making 1/1s. But now we have this 1/1. We can, when we draw land, we can go Healer's Hawk plus a 2/2. Two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So if he goes for a combat trick, we can just double pump up our guy. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we're gaining 3. And he lost his Guild Mage. Okay, we'll pay 2 to draw a card. Ooh, that's a really good draw. Oh, that's a really good draw. Skyline Scout, sure. Ledev, sure. Okay, that was really good as well. He has no cards in hand, so we're just going to fight the Ledev champion. Play our Healer's Hawk to deal with the Skyline Scout. Attack for 1. And we still have the Pack's Favor. And we have this guy, and we have this thing. So I think we're in very good shape here. This is the benefit of Pack's Favor, is you can just tap out, and if you have enough creatures, you can still cast it. We're definitely like very favored to win this game at this point. That's the thing about Selesnya, is if you don't build your deck properly, you have a weakness for flood out in the late game, / drawing low impact cards. And here I'm not even worried about getting killed by a combat trick because I can just convoke out my my spell. We're just going to kill all of his non-coming back creatures. Boom, he just concedes. Okay, so let's look at his graveyard before he scoops it all up. He has a couple of Sworn Companions, he's got a Rosemane, a couple of Rosemanes. He's got a pretty good version of the deck, I'd say, but I think we can just go bigger than him. We didn't see a single removal spell. This might mean Candlelight Vigil's a little bit better. Don't really think Hunted Witness is super necessary. Righteous Blow is definitely a card I don't want in this matchup. I guess I'd maybe want 1. He has a couple 2-drops. Yeah, maybe I still just want the Righteous Blows. I was thinking he's bad against Hunted Witness, horrible against Sworn Companions, but it does good work against Skyline Scout, against Conclave Dude, against the Dev Champion, I guess, if that guy's attacking. We'll cut 1. I think 1's a better version, and then we'll maybe add a Pack's Favor. Because he didn't see Pack's Favor. He did see Take Heart. Well, you can cut a Take Heart for a Pitiless Gorgon. We'll probably play around the Take Heart. That's why I like having like some other options. We'll just add Pitiless Gorgons to trade with his Rosemanes. And we will keep in the Sprouting Renewal because we don't know. He probably has some enchantments. But overall, I'm pretty happy with how this first game went. I think our deck is really favored in this matchup. Dog. Seamus. Ooh, this is a solid hand. Nothing too exceptional, but we have a Rosemane Centaur, we have a Luminous Bonds. I'm going to keep it. I think the key in this matchup is going to be Luminous Bondsing his early Rosemane Centaurs, because he's going to come out of the gates much faster than me, I think. And then I can take over with my powerful cards. I can also cast a Conclave, whatever the heck it's called. Conclave. The 4-mana bomb that just takes over the game on its own here. Here I am going to think I'm going to cast Flower. I don't have any reason, any great cards that work well with it right now, but I do have quite a few cards that require me to have 6 mana. So if I draw my mana sinks, I want to be able to use them more effectively. Okay, Iron Shell Beetle. It's fine. Definitely playing the Forest here, even though I showed him that I got a Plains. He knows that card for 1 turn, but I want to play my Forest, so if I draw a Pitiless Gorgon, I can play it. So opponent looks like they may have had mana issues a little bit, kind of like I did in game 1. The Forests and then into the Guild Gate. You know they drew the Guild Gate, or else they would have just played it on turn 1. So I'm going to attack. Next turn I'll convoke out my Centaur. Definitely not going to use a Luminous Bonds here. We're both off to pretty slow starts. His start is definitely more muted than his game 1 start. His game 1 start was pretty great. He used all of his mana every turn, including Convoke mana. Convoke mana, as in, like, he used his creatures for mana too, which is just really mana efficient. Because he had a couple of Rosemane Centaurs, but we were able to weather the storm with our removal, and it all worked out. Okay, so he's got a Rosemane Centaur. I might just want a Luminous Bonds. I'll wait on the Luminous Bonds. He has the 4 mana guy, and if I just trade these, I'll be fine. I have my Sumala Woodshaper to get some more value for me. I still think Sumala Woodshaper is insane. If you're playing the aggro matchup, it's just horrific because it's just too small. But in this type of matchup, it's fine, especially because I have Dawn of Hope and 2 Luminous Bonds. Okay. Blade Instructor makes me less inclined to trade. I think I will. I can play Woodshaper and then have Pax Favor backup. I'm glad he didn't have a combat trick there. We're just going to play Pitiless Gorgon. It can trade with the Beetle while the Healer's Hawk trades with the Blade Instructor. I can also hold up my Pax Favor this way. Yeah, I think we're fine trading these things off. We end up a little bit up on mana. We also don't, like, we have pretty good hand. So this works out. We have Luminous Bonds where he plays something that's scary. He does have, like, all spells in hand, I think. Fresh Recruiter is not a card I'm worried about. Neither is Beetle. Even if he puts it onto especially if he puts it onto the Fresh Recruit. Oh, goody. Okay, I think this is going to be a Pitiless Gorgon that we take here. We know he has some big stuff, and yeah, Pitiless Gorgon is going to be good. I think we're going to use this Pax Favor to try and kill Fresh-Faced Recruit. We know he didn't have a combat trick like a couple turns ago, or he would have used Rosemane Centaur. He would have used it on the Rosemane Centaur, so... So it's not the greatest Pax Favor, but it's essentially trading Pax Favor for a 3/2 first striker, which is pretty nice because I don't really have good answers to a 3/2 first striker at the moment. Seamus. Okay, Blade Instructor, sure. Have a nice trade here. And Hunted Witness. Not super powerful cards. Kind of wishing I had the Wild Ceratok now. But I feel like the odds of him playing something like a Siege Worm or another Rosemane Centaur are pretty decent. I guess Ceratok can also trade with his bigger stuff. I don't know. Probably, maybe a misplay. Definitely not going to trade with the Hunted Witness. I'm just going to block with the Shamala Woodshaper. I can take 2 for quite a while. Yep. Okay, that's a pretty nice draw. I don't think I'm going to use it. There's no real reason to. I can just keep taking 2 damage for a little bit. And he has much scarier cards to worry about. And eventually I'll draw a creature that can just trade with the Hunted Witness, and then... Or I'll just draw like my 4-mana 4/4. Not the best card to draw, but I'll take it. Better than nothing. I'll just trade here. This makes it so he can't attack me anymore, which is nice. And I have removal spells for anything big that he plays, so no need to go too low on life if I don't have to. I'm definitely going to Luminous Bonds this one. He could have stuff like Prey Upon, but I know he has cards with activated abilities. So using my Luminous Bonds is more effective. Even if I hadn't drawn the second Luminous Bonds, I would have still gone for Luminous Bonds. So I think I'm also very favored in this game. We're both just drawing off the top, essentially, but I have 2 removal spells advantage, and his creatures don't do anything right now. Yeah, I think a 2/2 Vigilance is actually going to be good here. I haven't seen any Luminous Bonds from him, and also, if he does find like a removal spell for my Pitiless Gorgon, it means he can't just attack me for 4 immediately. Okay, 4 goes fine. Just going to wait. No reason to rush things. I have a great hand. He has presumably lower quality of cards to draw because he doesn't have like the super bombs that I have. Okay, Inspiring Unicorn is going to have to die. I'm going to use a Luminous Bonds to take care of that, I think. If I could draw like a 4/4 so I could prey upon it, that'd be ideal. Ooh. Okay, I'm going to go for the riskier line here. I think it's going to work out. So we're going to target our 10th district card, and then we'll try to prey upon Inspiring Unicorn. Prey upon is our worst removal spell, so it's nice if we get to use it. If he had a combat trick, I feel like he would have been attacking as well. So that just works out nicely. We definitely didn't want to risk our like Death Toucher. There's some consideration, like to just like if he did have a combat trick, then we would trade 2 for 2. But I think my Death Toucher is more valuable than that. Okay, this is why we saved our Conclave Tribunal. Because now he can't just make a 1/1 every turn and overwhelm us. Especially because this thing can attack for 1,000,000. Now that the O3 wall's out of the way, I can just start attacking. With my like mediocre guys. I don't have to though. But if this guy trades for 2, it means he can't trade with his 4 guys for my Conclave guy, so I think attacking for 4 is nice. Skyline Scout is a card I do not care about at all. I'm at a high enough life total that it just doesn't matter. Definitely not going to waste the Luminous Bonds on it, but just going to attack with these guys. If he does trade all his guys for Conclave Guy, at least I have Conclave Cavalier. I'm going to have the 2/2s that it dies into, which is going to be really effective. This is a fine trade for me. These are all fine trades for me. Okay, yeah, he gets to gain some extra life. That's actually a really good play to make if you know what you're doing. Just, you gain all the extra life. There's no reason not to, really. And now he can't possibly trade with Conclave Cavalier. Perfect. If he's playing his own, I have my Luminous Bonds. Oh my god. That's really bad for me. Oh dear. Oh no. Well, that's a good card. We haven't even lost yet. We're still in fine shape. Because of our 4/4. Yep, we have Luminous Bonds for that one. So I can make this a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I can make this a 5, 6, 7, 7. I think I'm just going to wait a turn and then make it even bigger. That way it'll make it harder for him to like quad block it. This is 4, 5, 6. So there's 10 mana, so I can make this into an 8/8. Like a 10/10 even, but I don't really want to tap my guys. So I'm just going to make an 8/8 so that I can attack him. 9/9, perfect. Make it a 10/10. The 2/2 is not really blocking any of these guys anyway. So now I have a nice little attacker here. I definitely want to attack. Just start chipping away at his guys. That'll make my Conclave guy more effective. Oh my gosh, this is so good. Righteous Blow for the win! Oh my gosh, yes! We all knew it would be the perfect card. This is why I only sideboarded out one, so I could draw it in this exact situation. Yes! Oh my gosh! The perfect Righteous Blow to just completely destroy him. Oh my gosh, we did it! Oh man. Anyway, that is going to do it for round 1. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you'll stay with me for round 2 with this sweet Selesnya deck. Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 2. Playing our Selesnya deck, we would like to be on the play. This is a great hand. If we draw planes, this hand is like the dream hand. This is why Selesnya Guildgate is so clutch. You even have Puncturing Blow to deal with that guy. We definitely don't want to trade our Conclave Guildmate for this guy. So we'll just wait and use our puncturing blow to get him. Ooh, exciting draw. This card is really good. Oh, that's such a good quote. To wage war, secure peace within yourself. So probably playing Dimir, splashing black or something. We're going to play around Disdainful Stroke and just attack with use our Righteous Blow. And play Dawn of Hope here. If this guy gets Disdainful Stroke, that would just be a waste. Like getting this down past counter magic is also really good. Because Dimir really is going to struggle to beat that card. That's effective. So he's going to be getting a lot of value, but we also have a pretty good value machine here with this Dawn of Hope. We also have Prey Upon to draw into. That's unfortunate. If he's playing he's playing Golgari Splash Blue is what it looks like, based on the cards he's played. Because you don't play a double green card on the splash. But Beast Whisperer is going to be a pain. It was actually really well played by him to represent counter magic because he couldn't actually have counter magic probably because he's not like playing blue heavily, but he played his lands and spells as if he was playing Dimir. That's a nice draw. And if he tries to chump, we're just going to give it trample. Little known line of text. Conclave Cavalier is so good. So good. If he doesn't have a big creature, then we're in actually pretty decent shape. Even if he does, Dawn of Hope can give us some value. Conclave Guildmates can give us some value, so we're not dead in the water by any stretch of the imagination. He just has a lot of card draw. Yikes. That's actually kind of scary. Okay. And we can give our guys trample too, which is really nice. Makes his chump block really ineffective. Gonna play our land, but we're just gonna make a 1/1. It looks like he doesn't have creatures or he would have been playing them. But I don't think he expected the trample, because if he was at 9 life, he would be in much better shape. 9 life, 11 life. He's just going to run out of mana to play stuff. He's not going to have enough toughness to actually block all my guys if they have trample. Jesus, he milled 3 creatures. That's good for me. Jonathan Knight would have been kind of annoying, I think. Okay, Rise and Larcher is huge. He might just be dead, though. Yeah, I think he's dead. I just have too many attackers. He has Puncturing Blow. So if I attack with everything, he'll go block. Block, block. So if I attack with everything, yeah, he's dead. He can block 3 of them, which if he blocks these 3, he still takes exactly 5. So he could have Puncturing Blow, but that seems a really weird card to splash. So I guess he could have Necrotic Wound as well. Boom! Getting the W. Definitely glad that I've got like a way to kill this in the main deck, but looking at his deck, he's got a lot of creatures and he's got Beast Whisper, so if he doesn't draw, he's playing Golgari Splashing Blue for something. I've got like 2 ways to kill Beast Whisper, Prey Upon, and Conclave Tribunal. Sprouting Renewal, I just want the second one to kill the sword. The sword seems like a scary card. Take out a Righteous Blow. He didn't have, I mean, he had the Hired Poisoner, but the fine hand will keep. Gonna get a Forest here so that we can cast our double green card. The Death Toucher. I should have played my Plains turn 1, give him less information. Definitely not blocking. Probably means he has a second one. Or some other thing that can trade with the Guild Mage. Oh, Iron Shell Beetle. Hello, Beetle. Good morrow. I can Convoke this guy out regardless next turn, but this makes him a little bit more defensive. So if he like holds back his guys, I can just Convoke out the Centaur, and if he makes an attack that's overly aggressive, I can make a decent attack and make my Conclave guy into a 3/3. I think Righteous Blow is actually good in this matchup. I let myself get confused for no reason. Here comes the Rosemane Centaur. Definitely a respectable curve out, I'd say. The Glaive. Ah, yes. I think we're going to wait a turn so he can equip the Glaive, and then we'll get him. Attack with these two, he'll just trade with both of them. Doesn't sound particularly great to me. I guess I didn't need to play that forest. That was probably a mistake. Next turn I'm probably going to play both of my spells. Oh yeah, that's getting Luminous Bonds. We can make our Healer's Hawk into a pretty decent threat. Green, can invoke with this guy, and can invoke with that guy. We just don't want to get a Burglar ratted. There's no reason to risk that. Next turn we're going to make our Healer's Hawk into a 2/2 flying lifelinker. And then we'll just start making 2/2 Vigilancers. Vigilancer is a fun word, I guess. We have our Pitiless Gorgon for if he has a Rhizome Lurcher. Okay, yeah, definitely need our Righteous thingy against this guy. Oop, land is perfect. So this makes the Healer's Hawk into like an actual threat. Puts him on a like actual clock, which is nice. And we're like trading our 3/1 for his 2/2, which isn't even that bad. Then we're just going to make a 2/2 every turn. Which matches up really well against this board because we can just attack with it. Things are looking good. This is a board where Conclave Guild Mage looks great. Definitely going to take the opportunity to get down this Dawn of Hope. It's downgrading our guy to a 1/1 for the turn, but it's just another contingency plan in case this guy dies. Like he deadweights this guy, draws another kill spell for this guy, and we still have Dawn of Hope churning out the tokens. I think one thing that I've started doing a lot better is just not playing as scared of combat tricks, like not playing around them too much. I psyched myself out, I think, for a little bit and just played around with stuff like, oh, I can just wait till next turn and then I'll have my combat trick. I was like, no, I just block a lot of the time is much better. What is he possibly casting? Okay, so he sacrificed his Dowser Blights. Irksome. But he's only killing my Healer's Hawk. Okay, Charnel Troll, I have my Death Toucher to deal with that. I'm going to make my Knight this turn, and the next turn I can make 2 guys if I draw land. He only has a couple more turns left in this guy, and I can just block with my Death Toucher. Maybe he's paving the way for a Rhizome Lurcher, but I have so much token generation that it's not going to matter as much. I can infinitely chump a Rhizome Lurcher and draw cards. To wage war, secure peace within yourself. Wow, he's not even attacking. Now I can just make 2 1/1s. And eventually this guy's going to kill itself, so. Okay, so he kills my Death Toucher. We'll just take it and hit him back for 3. Oh my gosh, this is so good for me. I guess he gets to fuel this guy a little bit more. Okay. Gonna kill that guy. Go to combat. Attack like this. Draw a card. Make a 1/1. Now I can just double block that guy. Actually, I'll just triple them. Maybe even go up to quad. Probably triple though, or double. Okay, don't know why you do that, because now I know that he can't discard 2 creatures to it. That worked out. Always playing my land so that he doesn't get it with Burglar Rat. And I don't even have to attack here. I can just wait for this thing to kill itself. I'm gonna die in a couple turns anyway. It's gaining 1 power, and I'm making 2 1/1s every turn, so like my double blocks and triple blocks and quad blocks are staying about the same. I guess he does gain extra time to draw removal spells. Yep, he just concedes. I don't think he was going to win. I could just make guys, draw cards, gain life. Even if this thing starts attacking, I can probably attack back for even more damage. But anyway, that is going to do it for round 2. I hope you'll stay with me for the finals where we try to get a sweet trophy. Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to the final match of this video. Once again, we win the die roll, 3 for 3. Feels good, man. We're going to go first, as we have always done, and we are going to mulligan a 6-lander. Fortunately, we only have a 1-lander for our second hand, so we're going to have to mulligan this one as well. Doesn't mean we lose the game automatically. We do have some pretty good value engines in this deck, but going to 5 is always rough, especially on the play. It's just so slim that we draw enough lands to make this hand work that I think we have the mulligan. This hand is fine, but doesn't have any of our good cards in it. And that's the card that we wanted to see. We're just going to play it now. Maybe that was a little hasty. I just kind of wanted to make sure he didn't have counterspell or discard or something like that. Because this is really our only way to win the game. So if he like plays a Thought Erasure and we have to discard it, there's just no coming back from that. And it doesn't even matter because we can't attack through that anyway. Play the Venati Shieldmate. Let's attack, see what happens. We can maybe use our take card to trade for one of his guys, which would be nice. I would like to draw a card. I totally forgot about that part too. That worked out really nicely. Wow, that was really good. Dawn of Hope was pretty much the only way we could have a chance to win this game, and we drew it, and we're in great shape now. I mean, not great shape, but better shape than we would have been. We're fine trading these guys. We don't really want to. Do we want to just make a 1/1 here? That's my inclination. Next turn, if we draw planes, we can go these two. We're only giving up 1/1/1 to do it. And if he makes this into a copy of Dowser Lights, we can just Conclave Tribunal it, which is pretty efficient. That seems a bit sloppy for my opponent. There's no way I'm not blocking here. That was really good. So he's a little bit mana screwed, it looks like. Let's attack. Gonna play Healer's Hawk because it can start punching through there, and then I'm going to Conclave Tribunal the Lasav, because Lasav is going to be a problem at some point because it can just copy a Dowser or whatever he wants. And for that, we will tap this guy and these three. Not great against Disdainful Stroke, but it feels like he's just mana screwed rather than holding up Disdainful Stroke. But I was a little bit wrong there. Unfortunate for sure. But when your opponent is just missing land drops a lot of the time, it means that it's a good time to capitalize and start playing your own spells. And this guy, I think Lasav should have attacked here and then copied Darkblade Agent. As it is, I feel like this Night Vale Spark attack isn't even great because he's a surveilling one, but I'm just going to draw a card. He left it on top, so it's probably a land on top. Yes, I would like to pay 2. If you want to counter this, that's fine for me. Yeah. Really not a huge deal. That's not one of my better cards even. He also can't use Lasav very well now. I feel like he should have left something in there to copy. For sure. Like almost definitely. Like the Darkblade Agent, for example. House Guild Mage is a fine card, but I don't think he's going to necessarily be able to beat Dawn of Hope. Dawn of Hope is just so good. And I'm going to be able to use his 10th District card to enable an attack here anyway. Nice. Always be playing the lands so I can start making 2 tokens a turn once I run out of good spells to cast. He's black-blue, so he doesn't have a way to kill Dawn of Hope, so I can just cast my spells first. And if he holds up counter magic, I'll just make a guy. Dawn of Hope is so good. Definitely better than Affectionate Indrik. And definitely better. And drawing lands is just really good because it lets me just start making tokens alongside the spells I'm playing. Watcher in the Mist, sure. Kept one on top. His deck is really good. His card quality is very high. I feel like I would have attacked first and then played this because then you get more Surveil because he already surveilled the card he wants to the top, so you wasted that Surveil. And then you can be really aggressive with the Nightveil Sprite Surveil because you know you have 2 more Surveils coming up. So if it's like a medium card, you can just get rid of it. Luminous Bonds would be really good here because I could get rid of Watcher, attack in again, draw another card. I'll play the Wood Shaper, look for Luminous Bonds. There it is. Get in some extra damage. Things are looking up. Very far up. We know he's drawing a card he wants this turn. Dowser of Lights, sure. Our Pitiless Gorgon matches up really well against that. And we're getting close to the point where we can just start making 2 tokens a turn. Gonna have to deal with it twice because Lasov can copy it once we've killed it. Then I'll just start making 1/1s, but I really want to get the Pitiless Gorgon out. This is one of the best mana sinks in the format because it actually like affects the board. Like this one's fine, but it's not like board affecting in the same way. Okay, he has one too, sure. At this point, we're just making 2 tokens a turn. This is tricky. There's 2 options here that are interesting. First, I could try to kill Lasov. I think killing Lasov is the best option. Because Lasov is just going to be annoying because he's going to be able to copy Dowser of Lights. And if I target anything else, he'll just copy it. So I think it's actually worth it there. I'm also playing around discard. And Lasov is terrifying. So while I don't get to make an extra token this turn, I think it's worth it to kill Lasov without like a burglar rat being able to get me. Left both on top. Intriguing. Holy shit. Okay, capture sphere, kind of annoying, but we'll persevere. So the only card he could have here for 2 mana that I think is relevant is a bounce spell. So we'll just block as if he has the bounce spell because we have tokens to spare. So this is 5. So if he bounces this guy, any of our guys, we still kill him. Or you let him kill the extra small wood shape. Or... Oh, and we get to draw a card. No big deal. Huh. Yeah, he's desperate. He is in very bad shape. We're just going to make 2 1-1s a turn and then eventually draw Flourish and just one-shot him. That's our plan right now. We also have strong cards left to draw on our deck. Whispering Snitch. That is like a drain engine with this guy, but we're not really worried about that because we're making so many lifelink tokens. Eventually we could just suicide them in. And soon we're going to be making 3 a turn, and now I can attack him with my Healer's Hawk. Righteous Blow his Night Veil Sprite. I don't get to gain life this turn, but sue me. Considering I was on a mulligan to 5 this game, things are going quite well. Quite well. Oh, Murmuring Mystic. Oh, that's not good. I still think I can beat it pretty easily. Saratok isn't super useful here. I'd rather just make 1-1s. Because Saratok can't get through Murmuring Mystic. Darkblade Agent hitting the bin. Yikes. He's just looking for spells so he can block my Healer's Hawk, it looks like. Boom, he concedes. He cannot beat the Dawn of Hope. Oh, man. Oh, goodness. Okay, so his deck is great. He's got Devious Cover, he's got the Sauce, he's got all sorts of stuff. I think we're going to cut Sprouting Renewal. I don't think he has any artifacts or enchantments in his Dimir deck. Going to bring in Pax Favor so we can maybe kill a Murmuring Mystic. That seems about good. Hopefully we can draw our Dawn of Hope and win with that. Good hand. Definitely a solid hand. You know, he has Devious Cover Up and Disdainful Stroke. And he's mulliganing. Oh, baby. This is where we want to be. Da-da-da-da. Okay. A little bit less nice, but we take what we can get sometimes. Pilfering Imp. He's probably going to crack that just so he can try and get Dawn of Hope. I mean, if I had Dawn of Hope, I would clearly slam it here, so he might not use it. Yeah, he's going to get my Conclave Cavalier probably. The thing is since he mulliganed, he's trading down on, he's like trading cards 1 for 1 when that kind of benefits me in a way. Wow, Sworn Companions. That is crazy to me. We're going to put all the cards he knows about over here. Maybe he's hoping I just don't draw another forest. So far that plan's working out for him. But if I draw a forest and can go Cavalier into Cavalier, he's just in very bad shape. He does have a Capture Sphere. And if I don't draw a forest, I can still play this Rosemane Centaur. Definitely not blocking. If he just holds up all of his mana this turn, I might just attack him and not even play my Rosemane Centaur. Okay, he has Lasav. Lasav. Indeed. Oh yes, forest is just what we wanted here. Definitely just attack, play our Conclave Cavalier. So he kept the card on top, which presumably means it's a land. So I'm assuming he has a Capture Sphere, or he probably would have taken the Conclave Cavalier. Murmuring Mystic, okay. Doesn't really affect us all that much because we can still just attack and use Pax Favor. Land, I can Luminous Bonds. Philosoph, the Hard Poisoner. I think I'm going to trade for the Hard Poisoner. It's going to trade eventually anyway. And that way I can make the guy into 3/3 with my Blade Instructor the next turn. Just takes it. Yikes. I'm afraid of the bird reckoning. I can't believe you took Sworn Companions. That seems so wrong to me. And he concedes. Whew, 3-0, 6-0 with the great Selesnya deck. Pretty happy with this deck. I think we read the seat well, ended up with a great deck as a result of that, played the matches pretty well, and we had a good Bomb Rare in the Dawn of Hope. And pretty nice to get those wins. I hope you learned something about how to draft the format. I know that the format's winding down, but in your last couple drafts, if you are trying to win, I think that the 5-pick approach is a really nice way to do it and end up with good decks. I think all of the guilds are draftable. As long as they're open, you can end up with a good deck in any of them, so don't let yourself get biased too much. Cards like Righteous Blow are fine and stuff. Just, yeah, I think, this was a pretty good demonstration of how you can get paid off. We got pretty late Conclave Cavaliers, Luminous Bonds pretty late, and overall the deck ended up quite strong. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed the draft video. If you made it all the way to the end, be sure to let me know by saying hashtag Selesnya Rocks in the comments section down below. Let me know that you made it all the way to the end of the video. Yeah, if you have any questions, leave a comment, and I will. If you want to see my other videos, check them out on my channel, and I will catch you next time.